Trey Benson returned to Cardinals practice today. Can the Redbirds finally get something going on the ground, and what could that do for the Cardinals offense? We hear from JG, plus we see Benson take the field at practice today, Johnny.
Plus, we're going to go through Monti Ossenfort's tenure as GM. Bo, how much blame should the GM weigh ahead of this 7-game pivotal stretch to end the season? PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable, of course. He is Brack in Studio K. Noah Man behind the mic. Kurt Warner yesterday, Brian Baldinger today. These two schlubs on a football Wednesday. I'm excited about this show. I'm excited about the updates at the top, and I'm really excited to get into Monti Ossenfort. How much blame should he weigh, Bo?
I'm pumped to see the chat. Han shot first, lighting it up with his supporters emoji. Steven Jackson as well. AZ Moses 89. The squad, Bees, Schaff, Douglas, Sag, Jeff, Naheem, Mike Benjamin. What's up, Fuddle? Dropping a live. Love to see that. Hoy, hoy, my friends. Of course, PHNX Cardinals brought to you by our friends over at Bet365. Let's win some more money this weekend. First, you got to sign up to Bet365. Use the code PHNX365. And guess what, friends? You can bet $5 and win $150 in bonus bets just by utilizing the best betting app in all the land, in all the world. Bet365, never ordinary.
Everybody hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. It feels like the Cardinals have been taking shots left and right, on the field, off the field. Marv's gone. Will Johnson, what's the latest with him? Finally, a bright spot. James Conner went on injured reserve what feels like forever ago. Trey Benson was anointed then by fantasy football enthusiasts. This is the guy. Then he plays, and then he's been out with a meniscus injury. But, Bo, is there light at the end of the tunnel for the third rounder out of Florida State?
Yeah, the long wait. I feel like fantasy owners have been just sitting around like chain smoking cigarettes, just awaiting any sort of news on Trey Benson, and they finally get it. And they, they're excited, right? And it's like the prospect of the Cardinals having, a guy with the skills like Trey Benson coming back to the lineup, it should be exciting. So when we sat down today for Jonathan Gannon's press conference, and he delivered the good news and the bad news.
Quickly, I know you guys got a lot to do. Trey Benson's window will open. He'll be on the practice field today. Mari will be out, and Marv will be out.
So the latter there, not great, Marv, but we expected it, right? Marvin Harrison Jr., and it's not like they were short on receiving yards last season. Last week. They were able to make up for Marv not being in there. But think about what this offense with how Jacoby Brissett has been able to kind of get this passing attack going, what it would actually look like with maybe a run game back there. And, is there, Johnny, in your opinion, with the idea or the prospect of Trey Benson coming back, does it give you a little bit of a boost more so than Bam Knight gives you?
Yeah, I think for me, Trey Benson is somebody that just can kind of keep the train on the tracks a little bit with this team. I have never been the biggest fan. I was hopeful that maybe he'd break out this year. What I saw is that he's a nice player, right? And maybe my expectations are non-realistic because he was a third rounder, but he was the second back drafted that year. And he went into an environment perfect for running backs to flourish. And he couldn't overtake James Conner. And James Conner got an extension. And then James Conner goes down It's like, okay, Trey, now's your chance. Let's go. Immediately can't handle the workload, gets injured, right? And I don't mean like derogatory, can't handle it because he's not a good player. Like, I think he's a good, solid player. I don't think he's special yet. And for me, it's like, okay, the Cardinals' season is lost. Jacoby Brissett just threw the ball 57 times. They need him back in the lineup. Like, that's how I contextualize it. They need him to help Trey McBride, Michael Wilson, Marv, Jacoby Brissett need Trey Benson so that they can have an opportunity to have some balance in the offense so we can have those big plays so the game is not 3 scores in the second half and it's like, this is just garbage yards. What are we even looking at? And I think Jacoby Brissett's done a good job. I think it's going to help the right tackle, whomever that may be, Josh Fryer, Kelvin Beachum, Jonah Williams, please God, no. So like, I think like this is a nice addition, assuming he plays this weekend, which I think he may, to just stabilize this thing. It's not a cure-all. He's not James Conner, but I do think like Trey Benson, like getting a 7-game tryout at the end of this year is a good thing. I like that's a small victory and a storyline that I want to watch, because if I come into 2026 and I haven't seen much more, I'm like, I can't count on this guy.
Right. I mean, that was the old, Steve Keim way of developing, or lack thereof, players and not having the ability to make a decision going into a contract year. You should get enough of sample size for Trey Benson, if he can stay healthy the rest of the way, to get a good sense of what he can be. I think that your take on Trey Benson is unfair.
Okay.
Like really, like wildly unfair. And here's why. Because James Conner was been called the blueprint by Jonathan Gannon in his first season, as far as how he prepares, how he gets his body ready, how he approaches the game, and how he commands the run game for the Arizona Cardinals. And at points was the vocal point for this offense, to think like, well, why wasn't Trey Benson making an impact? Well, James Conner had the healthiest season of his career last year. He played 16 games for God's sake, and he toted the rock for 4.6 yards per carry. He had his second consecutive 1,000-yard season. And like Monti Ossenfort, we're going to go through this here shortly about Monti Ossenfort and what he's done for this organization. I think he wisely took a running back in the 3rd round, which is like the money round to take running backs. Sure. He took a guy from Florida State with good size, 4.3940. He had explosive speed, breakaway speed, and he said this can be the future. And James Conner went and had, probably one of his best seasons of his career and earned himself an extension. I don't think that was an indictment on Trey Benson. Like, I think Trey Benson is a product of limited opportunity, and it sucks that he got hurt his first chance. I can't wait to see what he could look like. I don't think it's going to come as soon as like Sunday against the Jags. I think he'll come back potentially in some capacity. But yeah, the remaining 6 games after that, like, could Trey Benson show you like he can get those dirty yards? He can also, add the explosives. We saw the 52-yard run today or this season. I think we saw a 29-yard run from him. That would add to this offense, an offense that has become so dependent on the pass. And we wanted to see more passing. We didn't want them to just become such pass heavy. Like, could it set up the balance to where, those play action fakes that Jacoby Brissett has now kind of been doing, to where the opposing defenses are like, he's not going to hand the ball off. It's a pass. Get the pressure on the quarterback and cover your receivers.
Yeah, this is something that you and I have disagreed on for a while, and that's okay. Like, I don't want to have the same opinion as Bo all the time. Like, I look at the running back position, and I think that's a very easy position to immediately spot special. Like, I look at a guy like Travion Henderson. I look at like Bucky Irving in the same class as Trey Benson. It doesn't mean Trey Benson can't be productive. Doesn't mean he can't be a good like NFL player. But like he was like one of the first picks of the 3rd round and was drafted to be you can't convince me he wasn't drafted to be the heir apparent to James Conner. James Conner was in the final year of his deal. You used the top 65 pick on a running back that profiles similarly. Yeah. And then he comes into camp, and I was sitting there with you at training camp last year, and he looked okay. And he didn't look special. You can make an argument DeMercado looked better at times. And he's gotten better 100%. And James Conner became the focal point of the offense. and kudos to James Conner. He's an all-timer. But like sometimes this league is about opportunity and, the best of ability is availability. Like he has 7 games now because I think if he doesn't get it done in these 7 games, then you're going to the offseason with the expectation either you bring James back, you sign a back, you draft a back high. Like as much as this team, you don't think Jonathan Gannon is going to go into this offseason mortified that they threw the ball 57 times against the 49ers. That's the opposite of what they want to do. So
Right.
Fair or not, he got hurt immediately after being anointed as RB1.
Right.
And had to be put on IR. It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't care about your Florida State tape. I don't care about your 40 time. You have been, fair or not, outproduced by an undrafted free agent from TCU thus far. In terms of like yards per carry, or at worst, Bo, they're the same. They have the same production.
Mercado is toting the rock on like 3rd and long draws. Of course, he's going to get good yards per carry. Trey Benson isn't he younger than Cam Scadaboo? He's 23 years old. He just turned 23 years old in July.
Who's a better player?
You're not going to crush Cam for getting hurt, but you're going to crush Trey Benson. It's just
Cam at least made it a few weeks as RB1 with the Giants and had Cam had like a 3 or 4 touchdown game. I like Trey Benson. This is not me hating on Trey Benson, but when you and I sat and watched that draft of the 3rd round, which we're going to get to, that was not a good round, not a great round. You and I were fired up about that pick and you go check that tape. I can pull it tomorrow. You and I are like, this can be the bell cow back in Arizona long term. And we're almost 2 years in, and the juice isn't
29 carries for 160 yards. That's over 5 yards per carry, 5.5 yards per carry. So I'm gonna hold off on crushing the guy and casting him aside as a miss in the 2024 draft. But look, the opportunity is there. Make sure you hit that like button as we will get into Monti Ossenfort's resume and so much more. Let's take a look at how Trey Benson looked out there on the practice field today. This was me wielding my iPhone camera out there.
Look at that iPhone 17.
Wow. He's going to cut a little bit, handling 2 footballs. I don't think he'll ever have to do that in the game. I think that's illegal.
Pretty good right there. I think that looks pretty good. Let's see that one more time.
You want to see it? Yeah, we can keep it up.
I want to see it.
Bam Knight was leading off the reps in today's practice. Jamar Jefferson, who's on the practice squad, was second. Michael Carter, and then Trey Benson would get in there. Hopefully that's no indication of like they're going to slow play this. And I don't think they will. Trey Benson, his practice window opens today. So he's got 21 days to be activated. And if he's not, he stays on IR. I don't think that's in any kind of danger of happening, barring any freak injury. But he's now their 4th running back that they have at practice. Like Mercado goes down, as you heard, JG ruled him out already. The high ankle sprain that Schefter reported earlier this week, along with Marv. It's like those guys have no chance. They're ruled out for Sunday. It's not happening. So I think Trey Benson, there is a really reality where he's going to be in the rotation come Sunday.
Yeah.
And they've got 2 roster spots open. Not one now.
He's going to help them. There's a difference between he's going to help them. I want him to play versus he's the RB1 moving forward. It's forever and ever. It's let's see what he does. You relax, Jeff. You relax. Let's see how he looks these last 2 months. This is the perfect
fair question. I think there's a fair question here. Is why do you hate Trey Benson?
The Cardinals' offensive line is healthy. They want to run the football because what they're doing is not sustainable. It's a big reason why they're getting blown out. They're trying to slow these puppies down. You're going to play the Rams twice, Houston's defense. You're going to need to be able to at least try to keep the defense honest. I am pro Trey Benson. 7 weeks as RB1, and then let's reassess in January. I would love to be wrong about this. I'm not going to hide how I feel. How I feel is he was drafted to be the heir apparent. Then James Conner said, nope, not happening. Got it extended, got hurt, and Trey Benson got hurt.
Because James Conner was really effing good last year. That was the main reason.
Well, I mean, like
You can't deny that.
Like I liken
Are you
it.
going to try to deny that?
He is good, but I think he can be good with also pointing out, like, I haven't seen special traits from Trey Benson yet.
Okay.
Like, you watch Walter Nolan in his first game, it's like, oh, there's special traits right there. You watch Will Johnson, special traits. Like, there are players, and then there are players that, like, over time, it's like, oh, okay. Running back, though, is the easiest position to translate from the college level. You and I both know that. But we're going to take a break. We're going to come right back. You want to start the Monti discussion? We got more to talk about from JG.
What do we don't really have too much more from practice. We'll probably dabble right before but mostly getting into the Monti discussion. Let's do that next. PHNX Cardinals.
Cool. Hit that like button for our friends at Pure Edibles. Everybody's telling me to calm down. The only way I can calm down is with my friends at Pure. They're created in Flagstaff, the Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles, and is now made in Phoenix, Arizona. They're designed to be ripped in half bit and making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. Who says happy hour has to end with Noble Road's new Tower Station IPA all-in-one? It's happy hour. Get it? Happy hour all the time. If you're in Arizona, swing by local dispensaries. Grab yourself Tower Station AIO from Noble Road. Cheers to happy hour all day, every day. Find yourself some Pure Edible products at one of over their 130 dispensaries statewide in Arizona, Bo.
Are you one of those people that is hosting this holiday season, Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas coming up right around the corner? Well, you're going to want to have, of course, your temps in your spot dialed in. APS is going to help you do that. You got a bunch of people gathering under one roof. It's just you're going to have to crank up the AC usually, and very rarely here do you have to crank up the heat. But look, you want to do it. You want to do it efficiently. Do it with APS. APS has smart thermostats as low as $0. Shop and save now, right now at aps.com/shale. Shipping, taxes, they're not included. Other restrictions apply. But if you're like me, technology makes things easier. I've got my APS app downloaded to my smartphone, and I just toggle on my smart thermostat and make sure that I'm dialed in the most efficient way to heat and cool my house right now. You should do the same. It can automatically help you save. APS customers get a new smart thermostat for as low as $0. Visit aps.com/sale. And as I said, those taxes, they're included, so shipping, but other restrictions may apply, but it's well worth it. It's free 99 otherwise. Check it out right now with our friends over at APS.
Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Let's quickly take a look. Do we look at the injury report?
Yeah, let's throw it up there.
Yeah, let's quickly take a look here. Bo, some not so encouraging things. You had mentioned Marv is out, which that's the right decision. Wait, get him back. Don't rush this. But I'm more concerned. No Will Johnson or Taylor Demerson. The Cardinals desperately need their ball skills.
Right. And I don't know if we're going to get those back this week. I haven't seen Rabbit around the facility too much. I know Will is working hard to get back. But, yeah, I think that most likely it's going to be another game without those two players in the defensive secondary. Making it, very important that Max Melton and Garrett Williams make it through healthy, and Denzel Burke continues to develop as a 5th-round pick. Also, another key here is, I know it's Jonah Williams being out. People are looking at, somebody hold down that right tackle spot, but Calvin Beachum, who's usually getting a rest day,
right? It
was actually a groin that's keeping him on the sidelines. He did not practice today, so that's something we got to follow along with the rest of the week. I know he's doing out there at his turkey drive yesterday, but, Calvin Beachum, there is potential. We could see Josh Fryer, the undrafted rookie free agent, potentially have to make his first career start. So that's something to follow along with as well. Benson was limited. Garrett Williams, as you mentioned, the ankle that popped up last game, that happened. He was limited, and Hayden Connor continues with his window open to practice in a limited capacity. And something else that's key here, you got Trayvon Walker, who did not practice with the knee for the Jags, but also you had Travis Etienne, who's been so key for their success offensively. He was limited with a shoulder.
Interesting. I mean,
yeah,
that's their offense. we talked to somebody close to the situation this week that said, Trevor Lawrence is very much kind of a game manager at this point with some plus mobility. ETN is how they, make their money. And they've got a great offensive play caller in Liam Cohen, who just so happens to be their head coach. And he's continued a lot of the good that happened in Tampa. And Tampa's been solid offensively this year. They're not what they were a year ago. So for me, it's like this defensive line for the Cardinals, like it starts within them this game. Like you have to be able to set a better tone. I actually thought they did okay on McCaffrey from a run defensive standpoint early in that game last week. It was just, man, people just running wide open on their secondary. So
yeah,
that's a concern for me. Go ahead.
No, I mean, like Akeem Davis-Gaither.
Get out.
Yeah. I mean, you can call that secondary, but that's the linebacker core. But that's also like, you don't want to get playmaking tight ends on your off-ball linebacker. You got to figure out maybe how you can help. And yeah, that's where the members of the secondary could step in.
Speaking of Akeem Davis-Gaither, was that a mistake to sign him? And we said it at the time. So I want to transition here. We were going to do it yesterday. We had Kurt on, so we bumped it to today. And, in the midst of this Jonathan Gannon heat storm, hot seat, whatever you want to call it, we have gone through the rigors of, we believe Kyler Murray will be traded this offseason. The fan base wants Jonathan Gannon fired, and we reported that he is not going to be fired as of right now. What about Monti Ossenfort? You always talk about the brain trust, the big three in any organization, GM, head coach, quarterback. Is Monti Ossenfort without blame in this situation as the Cardinals sit here at 3-8, just ahead of Thanksgiving? So, Bo, what we're going to do is we're going to walk through his additions, both in free agency and the draft, and decide, is this team more talented, not as talented as we thought? Are the players being misused? Obviously, there's a lot of influence that came from Drew Petzing, Nick Rallis, and Jonathan Gannon as it relates to what they need to have their schemes work. But with that being said, this was a teardown in 2023. This is what it looks like now. So why don't we start with free agency?
Okay.
Because I would argue that's been his biggest kind of crutch or bugaboo here, unlike Steve Keim. So let's first start with free agency, notable hits, notable additions for Monti Ossenfort, Bo.
Yeah, not a bad list to in 3 off seasons, and really can't count Frohold's a part of this from the 23 off season, but for the most part, they kind of started really adding free agents in 24 and in 25 most recently. But Sweat, your sack leader, Calais has shown that he's taken on father time head on and maybe winning that battle. Mack Wilson Sr. going from kind of a NFL afterthought, not a household name, to a guy that's been very good for them as far as their off-ball linebacker, their Mike linebacker, kind of a versatile player last year. Unfortunately, he's done for the season. And then you got Yelda Froholt, who steadied things up front at the center position, and then Jacoby Brissett, who went from really high-end backup to your QB1.
Well, and I think this list, the best thing I can say about this list, because it's small, is that these many of these additions were this year. Sweat's been great, should make the Pro Bowl. Calais has been great, and then Jacoby Brissett's been great. Like this year, hey, that's great. But then you look at Mack Wilson came in 2024, and Yelda Froholt came in 2023, which means he largely struck out those 2 off seasons in free agency, especially in 2024. We knew, Bo, in 2023 that they weren't going to add much talent in free agency. They were going to strip this puppy down. They were getting rid of players. The disappointment with the Colt McCoy situation, be that what it was, 2024, it was okay, you got money. We endured a bad season. Go out and spend money. Well, he did, kind of, and it led to the misses in free agency for the most part. Let's take a look at a more robust list as it relates to Monti Ossenfort, Bo. Here are the free agent misses for this team, if we could see that, Noah. Yeah, there it is. Potential misses in free agency and the draft. So we're going to go both free agency and the draft here. I just want to focus on the free agents right now. You've got Justin Jones, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Bilal Nichols, Jonah Williams, DJ Dallas, all done in that 2024 offseason. And then this offseason, you've got Akeem Davis Gaither. I mean, that you look at that specific 2024 offseason and you think about, man, they had a ton of money and they got next to nothing from these guys. Think about that.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow. It absolutely was. I mean, very transparent. I think going into that offseason, he was trying to do what they viewed free agency as is supplemental. But there was too many holes on the roster to where it's like you're not going to be competitive and you aren't going to sink your ability to really, you weren't going to mortgage the future cap space if you were a little bit more aggressive in that offseason. But, you saddled yourself with robust contracts in Jones and Nichols to where these are guys that are just not haven't made any impact on the organization positively as far as winning football games. So yeah, it's tough. And then Jonah Williams, who you thought him staying at right tackle and you just putting Paris over a left tackle, like where you're going to be able to bookend things. And he's just been not even really a roller coaster ride, just kind of a free fall, since he's joined. There just hasn't been a whole lot of positives from Jonah Williams holding down the right tackle spot during his 2-year tenure with the Cards.
Yeah, I also want to add, it wasn't really the money for a lot of those guys. Like the money hasn't hampered them, like a DJ Dallas. It was more so like these guys were relying on to be like starters for you. Yeah. Like Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols, come be every down starters for us. Sean Murphy Bunting, be our corner one. DJ Dallas, like that to me is a bigger issue. Is like we're signing guys that really no one else is running to sign. So we're investing some money and then we have to play them and we're counting on them. And so we're not signing better players and then they get hurt. So then you have a scenario in which you're playing with no talent. To me, that the expectations of these players was irresponsible by Ossenfort. The money also was irresponsible. And he learned a lesson. That 2024 offseason, other than Mack Wilson Sr., like it's just not. There are a reason why guys like Leonard Williams don't hit free agency. Quentin Williams don't hit free. Like these D tackles, man, they're just such fool's gold.
Yeah, you know what, we were missing one. I see that in the chat because your White was a hit. He played out the entire 2 years of his contract.
Missed that one.
We missed it just because he's not here this season. But it absolutely was a hit. I think he had 2 really productive seasons for the Arizona Cardinals. Like DJ Dallas, I don't even know if I'm going to can you call that a miss? Like bringing in a guy who just has such a minimal role.
But it was a bad contract. It was
who cares? Like you said, you didn't even care about the money.
Well, for the D tackles mostly, but
he had a return touchdown. He was fine. Like I don't know if that was like a miss. That was not like a swing and a
miss. Deal, and he was cut before year 2. I think that counts as a miss. But
yeah, but it's like, are you sitting like, man, we could have really put that chunk of change somewhere else?
Well, okay, let's add up like the entirety of that free agent class, which was a big nothing burger. You give that money to Jonathan Grenard. I mean,
because otherwise, like DJ Dallas, it doesn't matter. Like it's a drop in the salary cap bucket.
No doubt about it. But again, it also taught when they're investing in those kind of players, then maybe you're deviating from better players in the draft and free agency. But we're going to take a break. But before we do that, I want to give you an opportunity. How would you grade Monti Ossenfort as a free agent acquisition general manager, both trades and signings? He hasn't made many trades.
Let's stick with because there hasn't been too many trades outside of on draft day. I mean, there was the Desmond Ridder for Rondale Moore, and Moore hasn't played since they traded him, and Desmond Ridder has just been bad at football, so it's kind of a wash. I would say he traded Isaiah Simmons, right? He traded away Isaiah Simmons for a bag of footballs. So I think probably advantage Monti Ossenfort there for that deal, getting that 7th round pick. I would say, as far as free agency goes, I would say C-.
C- was going to be my exact grade as well. The chat pretty consistent with that. This year, he had a really nice free agency period. Not perfect, but really nice. We're going to come back around the break. We're going to go through the meat of Ossenfort's team building, the 2023 through 2025 NFL draft. Stick with us. Loaded show today. I'm going to need my energy, and I'm going to get it from our friends at Factor. Factor Meals have me ready to roll. I put in long hours, as does my co-host. I'm going to tell you right now, I need food, good food that's nutrient enriched, that's got the kind of protein I want, that also has the kind of flavor I want. I know Factor's ready. Slap it into the microwave, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Choose from a wide selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafoods. They've got salmon, they've got shrimp, Mediterranean options. They've got the best global flavors from Asian-inspired meals, Thailand, China. I'll tell you what, I had a pork roast the other night. It was fantastic. Took just a couple minutes in the microwave. I always impressed with their mashed potatoes, their asparagus, their green beans. Again, it's like, I don't want something that feels artificial. And too often than not, whether it's fast food, even when you go out to a restaurant, you're not sure what you're getting. What you're getting with Factor is smart meals made by the best recipes, chefs in the continental United States. Eat smart at factormeal.com/PHNX50 off and use that bonus code PHNX50 off to get 50% off your first box. Plus, you're going to get breakfast for the entire year. Get them right now. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals derived and delivered from Factor. Offer only valid for new customers. But again, even if you're not a new customer, check them out right now and qualify auto-renewing subscription purchases.
Love Factor, unreal food that they deliver right to your doorstep.
Yep.
Also love Captain Morgan. The ship, Captain Morgan ship, it's coming to Arizona. That's right. Army mateys. It's setting sail, dropping anchor in cities nationwide, including here in the desert, Glendale, where Captain Morgan's ship rolls in. The real pirate ship. Expect epic celebrations, memories your crew won't forget. That's right. Real Captain Morgan ship's going to be in Arizona this weekend, November 23rd through the 28th. And don't miss your chance to see it across the valley. Here's the tailgate events that you're going to want to write down. The Captain Morgan iHub tailgate tour at State Farm Stadium, where the Captain Morgan ship will be in town for this first stop, kicking off its tailgate tour throughout the valley. It's going to be in Old Town on November 26th. You can stop at the locations at Social Tap, Gilligan's, Goodword Tavern, Wasted Grain, Local Patron, Rock Bar, Kill Club, and DJs and Barstool Sports. November 28th, it's going to be hanging out in Tempe for the Territorial Cup, hanging out with PHNX Sunbells. Don't miss your chance to see the Captain Morgan ship yourself. Follow them at Captain Morgan USA on Instagram. Follow that journey.
Hit that like button. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. I know we're going to jump into Monti Ossenfort draft picks, so I figure let's start with some of the potential misses. And again, preface this by saying I like these players. I want them to do well. I don't hate them, especially Darius Robinson. But we just haven't seen a return on investment yet, especially given where they were drafted, right? I'm not going to sit here and rip a 7th rounder, Tajon Palmer, or Jaden Dadius. I'm not doing that. So let's look at that misses graphic again. B.J. Ojulari has not been healthy. B.J. Ojulari, when he's healthy, can play in the NFL. We saw as evident on Sunday. He had the sack on the 2-point conversion bowl. He was poised to be their number 1 sack artist last year. He tore his ACL and had a cleanup surgery in June. So it's been a rough go. I'm not giving up on him. But he's got to, show in his contract year that he's worth keeping around. Then you've got Darius Robinson, who tragically lost his mother last year, had a really difficult hamstring injury. This year he's battled some injuries. But I will say recent tape is encouraging. Just don't check his PFF score. And then lastly, the 2024 third round, for what it was built up to be, 4 picks in the third round of what was everybody's estimation, a loaded draft. The impact you're getting is next to nothing from that group. Elijah Jones, non-factor. Trey Benson has been hurt as a backup. Isaiah Adams is a backup. And then Tip Ryman now hurt as a blocking tight end. Am I missing anything that you want to add?
No, I don't think any of that's unfair. Trey Benson can do a lot of heavy lifting if he can prove to be a good player, a guy that can tote the rock for you as your top running back. Elijah Jones has played 29 snaps on special teams. He's exclusively a special teams player.
Yeah.
Third round pick, top 100 pick. It's unfortunate what happened with Tip Ryman. He at least had a role. When things fell by the wayside is your inabilities as far as to run the football earlier this season. It showed that pick, the flaws in using the 82nd overall pick on strictly blocking tight end with zero upside as far as catching the football. And then, it's a big kind of bummer that Isaiah Adams has not been able to produce. It was a player that a lot of us, everybody on this show, was pretty excited about. We liked his training camp. We liked we saw him in preseason, and he came out start the season. He just couldn't play. He was undisciplined, a more penalized Cardinals offensive lineman. And he was a liability as far as trying to protect Kyler Murray or, open up run lane. So yeah, that third round, which we were really excited about, the potential of going into that draft with 3 picks and then adding a 4th and getting very little results. It's unfortunate. And right now it's a blemish on Monti Ossenfort's pretty stellar draft resume.
And I think about Tip Ryman, if he hadn't gotten hurt, I think would be firmly on this next list, just because he's playing, he's contributing. I'm not going to call that a miss, but right now, I mean, he's not playing in year 2, and he was an overdraft in terms of his position. So I at least, like Gannon said this week, he's I'm playing Isaiah Adams because I want to see him play.
Yeah.
So
no Will Hernandez at practice today too. So I think we're at the point at 3-7, and we're going to see a lot of Isaiah Adams. So hopefully he can find some footing again.
All right, let's take a look at the potential draft hits or notable draft picks for Monti Ossenfort. And this is where Monti Ossenfort can stick out his chest to the fan base, to the ownership, and say, look what I've done in 3 draft classes. Let's start with this first group. The 2023 draft has been nothing short stellar for Monti Ossenfort. Paris Johnson Jr. should be a Pro Bowler, but because the Cardinals are not good enough, not on national TV, he just doesn't get the votes. He is in my mind, he's a Pro Bowl left tackle. So when you hit that on your very first pick, on top of, swindling a trade down, then a trade up, fantastic work by Monti Ossenfort. Paris is a staple, and he's going to be paid handsomely this offseason. Garrett Williams, exceptional slot corner who should also be extended. This offseason was the number 1 slot corner last year via PFF. And there's a big difference when he's in the lineup. I know he had a tough time against Jackson Smith and Jigba, who doesn't. Michael Wilson suddenly looks like he's ready to emerge. He's getting opportunities, making the most of him as a nice complementary receiver. And then guys like Dante Stills and Keitrell Clark as day 3 picks are going to not only finish out their contracts with the team, Bo, they're contributors. Dante Stills and Keitrell Clark, if they're not re-signed by the Cardinals, will be signed to nice deals by other teams, and then the Cardinals will get compensation picks from those teams. That is the sign of a good GM. We've got contributors. Maybe they're not meant to be here forever, but when they do leave, we should have other players ready to go, and then we're going to take advantage of a Pittsburgh or a Cincinnati, somebody that's oh yeah, we're going to sign Dante Stills to the LJ Collier deal or the Bilal Nichols deal, right? So let's start with the 2023 draft class, easily his best class to date.
Yeah, look, right now he's probably averaging just over 3 contributors a draft class. And I think that'll do, right? Yeah. I mean, with some swings in there. And, they're not coming in the premium spots outside of, Paris Johnson Jr. And we'll see what happens with Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think Walter Nolan, you can say, is absolutely going to be, an impact maker. But this is an impressive list that can go from really good to great with some guys taking the next step. And that's going to be imperative for the Cardinals to go where they want to go. But, Walter Nolan is already emerged as one of his best picks in just 3 games time. It's Michael Wilson showing you as a 3rd round pick that he could go off for 185 yards in a game. It's pretty good value there for a guy that he got that, you just can't take any receiver and put him in that position. So some of these guys, I think the jury's still out on them, still have a lot of developing to go, but have shown you enough to where like, hey, these guys can at least play at this level.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the 2024 class, which is probably the biggest kind of question mark and could go either way. Marvin Harrison Jr. headlines it.
Yeah.
I want to see more from Marv. I'm gonna put him on notable because I think he's got the ability. And I hope after this week he's back and he finishes the season strong. Max Melton's a consistent starter. He's missed some time. Ball skills have been questioned, but again, metrics say he's a good player. Robert Taylor Demerson is somebody that when he's healthy, can we get him in the lineup? I think he's going to start next year, and he's got 2 interceptions. Jalen Thompson and Budda Baker can't intercept passes anymore. So it's like, I like those 3 players. None of them have been home runs, and then they had so many other picks that we're not sitting here talking about. So that to me is 2024 class brings the grade down, and then Noah, let's quickly look at the 2025 class. Both mentioned Walter Nolan, star power, Will Johnson, star power. Health is a concern, but you check the box. Can they play in the NFL? Are they worth their selection? 10 out of 10 would say yes. And then Jordan Burch is playing a lot. Give him time, develop him. I didn't expect him to be a rock star this year. Cody Simon's going to start half the season. And, I like that open field tackle against Christian McCaffrey on Sunday. He's going to be a much better player at the end of the year. Denzel Burke could have been, the steal of day 3. If there was an all-day 3 team, Denzel Burke would be on it. And then Keaton Crawford is going to probably be the 3rd safety next year. He's got great ball skills. He has not looked overwhelmed coming into this game or these games when he's been given an opportunity. He falls in that Dante Stills, Keitrell Clark category. So, yeah. This has the potential to be Ossenfort's best class because of the star power of his first 2 picks and the depth that he gets from the rest of the class.
Yeah, we give a definitive grade for Monti Ossenfort during his tenure, and how much blame does he deserve for the Cardinals where they are in 2025? We'll get into that next. PHNX Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't have any blame right now for our friends at Bet365. I just have cold hard cash. I'm just making money, friends, with our parlays. They've got so much good stuff going on with our friends at Bet365. We've got the early Sunday payout. We've got Thursday night touchdowns. I can't wait for this weekend because I think one of the sharpest bets is Cards plus 2.5 against Jacksonville. And you're like, Johnny, I don't trust you. I don't trust the Cards. Okay, well, do you trust 150 in bonus bets maybe? Breaking news from Bet365. New customers get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. All you got to do is deposit $10 in your newly created account. Bonus code's PHNX365. Bet 5, you get $150, regardless of what happens. You can bet on the Cardinals, you can bet on the Jags. It doesn't matter. You're getting $150 to use on spreads, totals, player props, futures, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary. With Bet365, you got to be 21 years or older, physically located here in the great state of Arizona. If you were someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more info.
If you like winning money, then let's continue that. We'll parlay it into Gila River Resorts and Casinos. No one does it better. Rated one of the top 10 casinos outside of Vegas. And I'm going to push back. This is my opinion. I think that they're easily a top 5 casino outside of Vegas. And I think they beat a lot of the really bad places. There's a lot of bad places in Vegas. Trust me. Like being able to go and experience big time casino here, just down the street from us, 4 convenient locations here in the Valley, Gila River Resorts and Casinos. No one does it better. Wildhurst Pass, Lone Butte, VQueva, and Santan Mountain. Experience the best the Valley has to offer. Check out the 4,500 slots, live table games, and catch all the action at all the sports books. Join us on away games at Wild Horse Pass. We're hanging it out there and having a great time. Come join us and go home a winner. Unprecedented level of entertainment. You do you. Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for all the details.
Hammer that like button and now give us your grade for GM Monti Ossenfort over the course of 3 draft classes. It also does not include Higgy Bear, Higgins, contributor, Starling Thomas, DiMercato. So, again, we'll put them on their own category here. I will go first. I think Monti Ossenfort gets a firm B for his drafts. I think this draft has a chance to be an A, but the 2024 draft class, You might just have to chalk it up as it wasn't as talented as we thought, right? We look at a lot of these top 10 picks. Malik Neighbors is injured now. We've had some ups and downs with a lot of the quarterbacks. I wonder if we look back in this class and maybe we overrated a little bit more. And then it's funny, people dogged on the 2023 class, and it's had a lot of contributors. So I want to just preface that and remind everybody ahead of this draft in 2026, like no one knows. And so I understood the assignment. I agreed with the picks at the time, especially Marv. But I think when you have not drafted a Pro Bowler yet, and that's likely to continue through this year, but you've elevated the floor of this team from a talent standpoint, I think it's a solid B.
Yeah. Chris Clark going A-. I think that Marv, when he gets back, Darius, and not Max Melton, but like Trey Benson can do some positive to take maybe a solid B and turn it into a B+ by the end of this year and show, hey, we can be some pieces, some vital pieces for the success of this team beyond 2025. So yeah, I agree with it. I think he's really kind of set. He's laid the foundation. We got to see him hit and rebuild this offensive line outside of Paris. If Adams can be one of those guys from 2024 too, that can emerge and show, hey, I can be starting quality, which he hasn't shown to be, that would be huge for the Cardinals. But yeah, I think you're bookending so far in 3 drafts, 2 pretty solid ones, and one where you still need time to really kind of decide on where it is. But it hasn't lived up to the expectations just yet. And that was supposed to be the one.
Yeah. It's hard because I don't want to sit here and sell hopium. I don't want to sit here and tell everybody that they're going to turn this around with this regime and that next season will be better. But just like the rule of thumb in the NFL, okay, premium positions, which Monti Ossenfort emphasizes, they have a franchise left tackle. They have multiple high-level corners. They have, if it's not a franchise edge rusher, it's a very high-end edge rusher in Josh Sweat. They could always use more. They have what we think could be a star in the making 5-technique defensive tackle. Where are their premium holes on their roster? Quarterback right now, and then wide receiver. We'll see what happens with Marv. Although I think Trey kind of defaults to a number 1 wide receiver at this point, and so I think they just need playmakers that can score touchdowns. So, having said that, like how many of those boxes could they check in 2023? Did not have a left tackle. Did not have a number 1 corner. Did not have a number 1 wide receiver. Did not have a number 1 defensive tackle. Did not have an edge rusher. What were the players we were touting during the rebuild? Budda Baker, safety. James Conner, running back, right? I mean, those were the players. Isaiah Simmons, right? And old D-Hop. So whether it's this regime, the future regime, like none of these players are going anywhere. They have to continue to develop, but it's nice to know like there's a safety net here, but wins have to follow.
No doubt about it. Our guy Matt Miller is up to making a mess of what the Arizona Cardinals could do in the NFL draft. You're not going to believe what position he has the Cardinals taking in the first round. Of course, he gets it wrong. Plus, an update on Kyler Murray. It's all coming up next. PHNX Cardinals.
Can I hire the husband and wife law team to divorce my eyes from seeing any Matt Miller mock drafts moving forward? Dear God, somebody sent me that earlier today, and I just like
class action suit, baby. Let's get in on it together.
I need a Mark and Alexis Breyer are the husband and wife law team. They're based here in Phoenix. They've raised their 8 children, and where their focus is always client results. Okay, let's face it. After serious injury, you want to hire an attorney that's focused on your best outcome, not how much money the firm's going to make. That's the husband and wife law team. They're bringing hundreds of years of experience and combined trial experience, multiple certified specialists in personal injury and wrongful death. And right now, you can cancel their fee agreement at any time for any reason, and you're going to receive at least as much in your pocket as they receive in their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney fees to do so. They are a staple in the Valley. You have seen this photo everywhere you go because they are, number one, They are the best. Call them right now. If you have a serious injury, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at the link in the show notes and tell them Johnny and Bo from PHNX Cardinals sent you.
Their winning play, the husband and wife law team, so is Mountain America Credit Union. Everyone needs a checking account. That's simple, right? Nobody's just going to go keep their money in, their piggy bank or put it in, their shoe box in a closet. It's just not smart, right? And especially it's not much smarter just going to a bank and just saying, hey, keep my money. I'm going to pay a monthly maintenance fee and it's just going to be set it, forget it. No, get a checking account that works for you, that gives you the perks that you deserve. Make My Style checking your lifestyle with Mountain America Credit Union. Get the built-in benefits. The My Style checking account has the perks just for you. You can enjoy restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts. How about offers on travel and events and so much more? Make My Style your lifestyle. The Mountain American Credit Union. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. It's insured by NCUA and memberships required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. But once again, visit macu.com/mystyle to apply.
All right, before we get to Matt Miller, let's acknowledge Jeremy Fowler and Dan Graziano's report, whatever, from ESPN. Let's take a look at this. When asked and speculating on the future of this regime, Cardinals ownership seems likely to stick with Gannon and Ossenfort and let them pick that quarterback. They've regurgitated this over the course of the last couple of weeks, but there's no meat on the bone of this.
Yeah.
We can elaborate. Jonathan Gannon and Michael Bidwill are very close. Monti Ossenfort and Michael Bidwill are very close. Michael Bidwill does not want to go into an offseason having to start over with his leadership. So is Michael Bidwill disappointed? How can he not be? But I don't think Michael Bidwill looks at Jonathan Gannon, regardless of how, some of the fan base feels, most of them feels like, hey, this is all your fault. I think he's trying to look inward and say, like, what are we not doing well enough to maybe support this group? So it's not the answer people want to hear, but it's the answer that is available and that you're going to get right now.
Yeah, they recycled their Kyler report within this article on Jonathan Gannon being on the hot seat. And it reads as follows. Gannon is also on the radar for people in the league who track such things, though opinions are split on whether Cardinals owner Michael Bidwill will take action. Cardinals are clearly the odd man team out in the loaded NFC West. Bidwill can't be thrilled with that reality, but the notion of paying Gannon and Kyler Murray big money to go away, Murray roughly or nearly $40 million in 2026 guarantees on the books, can't be enticing. Gannon, 15 and 29 in the middle of year 3, but he also hasn't been able to handpick young quarterback to groom. That was via Fowler, while Graziano said agreed. He gets the sense that the Cardinals ownership seems likely to stick with JG and Monti and let them pick their QB since they inherited Murray. The way that Jacoby Brissett is performing in Petzing's offense gives the team a reason to believe that the structure is relatively sound, that a more reliable quarterback could unlock some things.
Let me drop a nugget here.
Okay.
I think there would be some openness to Stefanski from Gannon because they are close, but also because that for that very sentence, they would like to continue with this offense. And it's like they want to be able to lean into like what the team is doing well. And I know a lot of people could scoff at that. And it's like, well, I think we've seen like over the last couple of weeks, like the offense has some good stuff in it. You just don't trust the person pulling the trigger on the plays. Right. And then also the development of players. I think like there are good things in the offense, but I think that a lot of that's been kind of mitigated by the person orchestrating it. So all that to say, I like the more I kind of shake the tea leaves a little bit, like feels like Stefanski would be their top choice. I don't know the situation with Daboll. I also think Daboll is going to have really nice options. Stefanski and Gannon are very close, maybe more close than I thought.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, when you see the openers or the openings, I wouldn't be in Alberto, I wouldn't be so quick to close the door on Stefanski. This guy's a two-time coach of the year.
You're somebody I talked to last night that thinks Stefanski could get head coaching interviews after he's fired.
I agree. I think that's your major obstacle. Like if he's in the coordinator carousel and he's fallen out of any running for head coach. I mean, like I said, he's got the hardware. He took the Browns to 2 playoff appearances, right? And one of them was with Joe Flacco. He's just hasn't had the horses. He was saddled with that Deshaun Watson deal, wasn't he? That was a mess.
He went 11-5, 8-9, 7-10, 11-6, 3-14, and now he's 2-8.
Like Stefanski, I mean, even though it's the offense, right? I mean, is he going to call the RPO like Drew did, or some of those egregious 3rd and 4th and short plays?
Let me ask everybody who's like skeptical of that, because it's the same offense. How many people have spun off the Shanahan tree who are terrible?
Right.
It's the same offense. I mean, it's a lot of what Drew Petzing runs. It's about the coach. It's not the scheme. It's the coach. It's the person pulling the trigger. It's the person developing. If it was about the scheme, then every Belichick disciple would have been great. I mean, like give me a great coach over a great scheme. Everybody knows everybody's scheme in the NFL. Like who's pushing the right buttons on 3rd down? Who's scheming players open?
Yeah, when you look at who's going to be in the market for a new head coach this offseason, Miami potentially, the Jets could pivot off of Aaron Glenn.
Sounds like that's not likely, though, thankfully.
Cincinnati could be, they could fire Zach Taylor. Tennessee is going to absolutely be in the market. Vegas could be. The Giants absolutely are.
We want to root for minimal openings, I think.
Yeah.
Is the goal.
Falcons are going to have an opening. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of open seats, and there's not going to be a lot of candidates. Like, who are the hot coordinators right now? People are telling me Joe Brady. Having a discussion today, like Joe Brady was co-offensive coordinator for LSU when they had an absolutely just comically loaded offense with Joe Burrow, Jefferson, Jamar Chase, running backs that played in the NFL. And it's just like, oh man, what a genius. And he goes to Carolina and he's fired. And then he's like, and then you've got Joe Brady. He's like, he's such a genius again. He's got Josh Allen and James Cook in that offense up in Buffalo. It's like, I'm not so sure on Joe Brady is like this next level offensive mind.
Let me rapid fire. So it's funny you should ask that. Tom Pelissero did a candidates you should know for head coaches this offseason.
Okay.
You ready for this? It's a long list. Ready? There's a theme on this list, and it's not great. Joe Brady, passing game coordinator Thomas Brown for the Patriots, Jags DC.
The guy who was in Chicago last year?
I guess, Thomas Brown.
That was the guy. Yeah.
Hang on.
Passing game to OC, the interim coach. Remember that?
Let me run through this. Jags DC, Anthony Campanale, Jim Bob Cooter, Colts OC, Bears OC, Declan Doyle, Panthers DC, Avero. I remember him. Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame, Bucks OC, Josh Gizzard, Giants interim head coach Mike Kafka, Seahawks OC, Clint Kubiak, Rams OC, Mike LaFleur, and their DC, Chris Shula, Chargers DC, Jesse Minter, Eagles OC, Kevin Petulia, Cardinals OC, Drew Petzing, and DC, Nick Rollis are on this list. This was just released. Bengals OC, Dan Pitchard, Falcons OC, Zach Robinson, who's going to get fired. I mean, like, that's the list of, like, notable names to watch to get interviews this offseason. What? That dropped 9 hours ago from Tom Pelissero.
That's bad. I like Pelissero.
That Jonathan Gannon looks pretty good compared to that list. Can I just say that? That's not.
But it also proves the point. Like, you're gonna hire Mike Kafka, or you're gonna interview Slappy McCoordinator by title for the Chicago Bears because of
how about Jim Bob? Jim Bob?
You're going to do that, or you're going to have Stefanski walk in with his 2 Coaches of the Year awards, and Dable with his playoff win.
I don't want
and Mike McCarthy with his resume.
No, I don't want Stefanski. Give me Joe Blow, tight ends coach from the Patriots. Oh, great.
It's like, I'm sick of the inexperience. Oh, let's get tight ends. Yeah, let's get the running backs coach from
Give me the Jags
LA.
OC. Shut up, nerds. Nobody in the chat. Kevin Stefanski. Now I'm worried he's going to get a head job. Now I'm worried Dable's going to get a job.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a terrible, terrible list that is. Maybe the college route, people are just going to be like Kiffin, Marcus Freeman, Siggs. They're all going to go the college route, and they're all going to come to the NFL.
You know, what's unfortunate about that is like you still have the 2 juggernauts in your division. It's like all this change. Like, oh, the NFC, like it's crappy head coaches all over, except the 3 that reside in the NFC West. Good luck.
All right, let's get into this nightmare world mock draft. Thank God it's November 19th and not a week before the draft. And this is not from Peter Schrager. Bo, walk us through the worst draft analyst that's ever been known on the national scene. I have no problem saying that.
Yeah. No, we're never going to have him on the show, right?
He's never had a scoopy right. He's never projected a player to be good.
Yeah.
It's literally falling upward. He bought stock in the NFL draft at the right time.
Right. The projected trade in the number 1 pick, he has the Jets moving up to 1-1, taking Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana. So 1 quarterback off the board. Another projected trade, Browns flip spots with the Giants. The Browns take Dante Moore out of Oregon. So 2 quarterbacks off the board. And then they've got Miami tackle going 3rd to the Giants. And then the Titans taking ASU wide receiver Jordan Tyson, 4th overall. The Vegas Raiders taking the 3rd quarterback off the board, Ty Simpson. So all your top 10 projected quarterbacks gone by pick 5. Saints at 6, they take linebacker out of Ohio State, Arvell Reese. Commanders take Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami and edge. Oh, Bain. And you got the Bengals taking Keldrick Falk, the edge out of Auburn. And then our beloved Cardinals, 9th overall, taking out of the Ohio State. The trend continues. Safety Caleb Downs, 9th overall, while leaving the Rams with the Falcons pick, 10th overall, Spencer Fano out of Utah, one of the top tackles on the board. That Monti Ossenfort would take a safety over a tackle.
This is not me ripping Caleb Downs. He's a
really good player.
He's a tremendous college player.
Yeah,
he's a champion. He's an alpha. He intercepts passes. He transferred from Bama and has just immediately dominated the Big Ten. He's a great player. He's one of the best 10 players in college football. You, by no stretch of the imagination, are going to take a safety for a franchise that can develop safeties in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. The best thing your head coach does, arguably, is develop defensive backs. You're going to take one 9th overall, even if you're taking Caleb Downs over. It's like the argument we had about tight ends in the top 10 or off-ball linebackers. You're taking them that high, and then they need to be the best in the NFL at their position, or it's not worth it. I don't want those expectations. You know, I had somebody send me earlier, he could be Kyle Hamilton, or he could not be that, and he could be average Joe Blow. Taylor Demerson's a good player. He's going to start next year. You know, he's not healthy right now. Like, do that. Go do that again. Get a 4th-round safety. That is a horrific top use of a top 10 pick. Fireable offense by Matt Miller. If you're not taking a guard, or excuse me, not a guard. If you're not taking a tackle, wide receiver, or quarterback, or an edge rusher, don't talk to me.
Right.
And we know what's Monti Ossenfort done. Don't mean to interrupt you. Offensive tackle, wide receiver, defensive tackle, corners in the 2nd, pass rushers in the 2nd. He's not taking a safety 10th.
Right. Right. No, you're not paying attention. Like, this is why we continue to harp on this. And it's not even December. It's not even January. It's not even draft season. They're already trying to, they're they haven't paid attention since Monti Ossenfort took it over. They haven't paid attention ever. It was more kind of, throwing darts at a draft board anyway before that. But to be so oblivious to the positional value that Monti Ossenfort seeks, and now we have Todd McShay having the Cardinals taking a running back and Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame, and now Matt Miller taking a safety in the top 10. Just don't even consume just the national pundits and draft experts drafts on the Cardinals. Just don't anymore.
But the part of the problem, and here's where I'll put responsibility on the Cardinals, is they just suck too much that they become irrelevant on the national scene. And so people are just like, whatever, safety, whatever, running back. So like if the Cardinals won more and they were on national TV more and people knew their players, should Matt Miller know their players? Yeah, because that's his job. Guess what? He doesn't know their players. So it's just like putting the puzzle piece right here. 9th overall, we'll just put Caleb Downs. Oh, yeah, Cardinals like Ohio State players. So it's the Cardinals' fault. It always is it's their fault. You don't win enough, so nobody pays attention to you on the national scene, even though we don't need Matt Miller's approval. So this is what happens. Thankfully, Matt Miller, thank the football gods, will never make a draft pick for this franchise. Monti Ossenfort last year crushed it with Walter Nolan, crushed it with Will Johnson, assuming they can finish the season healthy. Will be back next week if he's not back Sunday. The beauty of taking a right tackle is that right tackle can just be solid, and he's going to have his 5th-year option picked up, and he's going to get extended, and he's going to be just a steady presence in your lineup, and you're never going to have to think about it. If you take a safety that high and they're average, guess what you're not doing? Picking up their 5th-year option, you're not paying that safety big money. Paris Johnson Jr. is a great player. He could have been a good player, and it would have been a home run. It's like we do this every year. It's just like, come on, guys. This is your job. Your job is to be able to assess the situation based on premium needs, what the situation is with the team. It's like they still have Budda Baker under contract next year. Right. Taylor Demerson's going to start for them.
Mm-hmm. Keaton Crawford is somebody who could vie for snaps. I'm not saying take over the starting role.
Safeties are a dime a dozen, guys.
Right.
It's a diminishing position. One to 2 safeties a year get nice average extensions, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, this could be. Let's just insert great player. Hey, this could be great player. Hey, let's take a running back. He could be this player. It's or he could be a bust, and that could be a disaster. I didn't like Ashton Genty in the draft. Bo can attest to that. I think he's underutilized with the Raiders. That is a disaster of a pick. You don't think they can't stop anybody? They're a horrific product, and they took an undersized Boise State running back when you could have had Walter Nolan. Are you a moron? Like that. But we're going to go through draft season. It's going to be a spectacle, and we're going to cover every inch of it. I can promise you right now, on November 19th, Bo and I will never be pro Caleb Downs for the Arizona Cardinals in the top 10.
Do us a favor, hit that like button, a little light in the likes. You guys continue to crush it in the chat. You got your super chats. Let's get to them right now. We got it. Lamar Washington, always in the chat. We appreciate that. $5. Should the Cardinals trade Budda in the offseason? He looks like he only plays for a game check. Man, some tough words for Budda Baker, who's the heart and soul for this defense at one point.
Can't trade him. I don't think he's a tradable player at this point. Approaching 30 years old, you would have to cut him. I don't think they would cut him. They don't need the money, but I think his last year with the team is probably gonna be next year. So I get another safety. Get a mid-round safety, and you'll be fine.
We'll ask our guy Baldy about Budda. Now it's just kind of been a eerily quiet season for the Cardinals safety. Who we got here? Is this AZ Texan? $30. Very generous. Thank you so much, AZ Texan. I wanted to take a moment and express my unwavering gratitude towards PHNX in the chat. Y'all have been amazing, but after 30 years, I can't with the Cardinals anymore. Love you guys. See y'all December 14th. Hashtag hold the line. Have we lost our guy to the Texans?
I don't know if he's a fan of both teams. Maybe he's got an AFC team, NFC team. Stick with us, AZ Texan. We promise at some point this team will win, and we'll be there to flourish in the moment. But we appreciate the very kind super chat. Alex, been a member for 2 months. Hot damn, let's go. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. Everybody hit that join button. If you can spare $5, help the show exponentially. James Cook wasn't a superstar right out of the gate. That's fair. Look at him now. I'm sorry, Johnny. I have to disagree with the unwarranted hate on Benson. You don't have to apologize, but it's not hate. This is a transactional business. It's a production business. And I argue he's not running it against a brick wall like Cam Scatterbo in New York. The Cardinals offensive line, the infrastructure is supposed to be there for running backs to excel. Now, the Cardinals O-line has been inconsistent this year. I'll give you that. But hey, Trey, you're going to have this offensive line and Tip Ryman. You have all the tools. So let's see him use the tools.
Yeah. Yeah. He's 5.5 yards per carry sucks. Brian P. $2. Starling Thomas, a hit for Monti Ossenfort, just hurt this year.
They're going to be loaded at corner next year. There's going to be competent. Denzel Burke, Starling Thomas, Garrett Williams, Will Johnson, Max Melton. Pretty good.
And the 3 they take in the draft.
Yeah. Hey,
along with Keelan Downs.
Draft good players. Draft good players at premium positions. I'm not going to complain. Alphone's $9.99. Say what you want about, but Keim Cliff have a better than Monti Ossenfort. Have been better, excuse me. Keim gifted us 85, had a coach that knew how to use K1, went to the playoffs, had fun seasons with D-Hop, new regime has been all bad. Listen, I'm not going to push back on that. Keim had a nice stretch with Bruce Arians where he would sign some nice players. He traded for Chandler Jones. I think Keim, privately would say he's a better GM. But the hope is, while Keim's tenure was front-loaded, that Monti Ossenfort is building with Gannon something sustainable for the future. And that's why we highlighted both his draft classes, just because these are just scratching the surface of these players. But I get it. Right now, it's the record is what it is.
Yeah. Push back on that. Keim without Bruce Arians is just not a competent GM. I thought the D-Hop trade was great and with Chandler Jones, but there were so many losing seasons, not even close seasons outside of 21. It was he couldn't consistently do it. He wouldn't embrace a rebuild. He wouldn't embrace, the drafts were so atrocious. I know he the blind squirrel found a nut in Trey McBride, and he's, the best player on the team right now, and I'll give him credit for that. But no, he's not. I just disagree. I know that as far as how it looks right now, Steve Keim's has had more success, but I think Monti Ossenfort will run circles around him as far as just team building and his approach.
Rocky Jameson, $9.99. Thank you, Rocky. Cardinals need Gruden. Chucky needs redemption, and so do the Cardinals. Fans need to make this happen. Hashtag Cardinal Chucky. I think I think John Gruden and Michael Bidwill would not be able to coexist. Maybe that's not fair, but John Gruden, I don't know if he'll ever work in the NFL again. Maybe.
I don't know if he'll even get into the interview cycle. It just seems like with Goodell as commissioner, and I don't know if that'll ever happen.
I also think he wasn't great with the Raiders. He's pretty average with the Raiders with Derek Carr. Dana, ball knower. Look at the offensive assistants. Thank you for the $5, by the way. From top 10 offenses, higher the one you like best is OC. We don't need Petzing Senior in Stefanski. I think it's the unknown versus the known, right? And do you trust Gannon after potentially missing on some coordinators and some coaches to go out and find another? I think he needs a sure thing, Dana. I don't think you can go into this offseason saying we're going to find the next blah, blah, blah. I think you need somebody that just can help you stabilize this thing. Because I think it's unrealistic to say they're going to win 12, 13 games next year, but they can't be this, right? can't have this happen. And I think Stefanski helps you against the Packers this year, the Colts, the Titans, some of those early games, the Niners. So I don't know. I think Stefanski's going to be a pretty hot commodity if he's fired.
Christian 499 as an AZ fan that lives in Ohio, there's rumbling Stefanski won't be fired as Haslam takes the blame for the Watson trade.
I mean, yeah, he's got to be fired first. I talked to a Browns fan over the weekend though that thought he was going to be fired, and that losing. Who did they lose to? Losing to the Jets was a fireable offense for Stefanski. But
you talk to a lot of people. You're connected, man.
That's all I do when I'm not on air, trying to put on the best product we can here at PHNX Cardinals.
You're never texting me. You're never talking to me.
You're too busy hobnobbing it in Tempe. Trenell, $10. We have to stop listening to experts on quote unquote loaded drafts. Most of the time we hear loaded draft, a good amount of those prospects don't hit. Example, 2020 wide receiver class, 2022 defensive end, 2015 pass rush class. I agree with that. I mean, we can like prospects and we can be fired. People dogged the 2023 draft. I mean, it was part of the reason Ossenfort traded back and got a future one, because everybody's but wait until next year. And is the 2023 draft class going to be one of the best for this franchise in 20 years? 100%. It might be the best draft class outside of the 2015 draft class in 20 years. Now, that's grading on a curve because disaster class Kime and Rod Graves, but people are that draft stinks. It's no, they had a bunch of good players.
Yeah. Tim Gwatney, 499. Hello from Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. Well, until I got the notification about Benson earlier and was dragged back into the depression void. Welcome back.
Can't wait to
welcome back.
And Tim, kudos for you taking your family out there. I looked at tickets recently. Holy Lord.
They went up, huh?
Yeah. I feel like they've doubled in the last 12 to 18 months, but
in this economy?
Yeah, things are going great. Everything's great. So yeah, I'll give my best to Tim at the happiest place on earth.
Enjoy it. Have a churro.
They have a lot of really good coffees, fun coffee drinks. And they've got Dole Whip, which is fantastic too. Disney rocks. But Tim's saying 105-minute wait for cars. Stick it out, brother. It's worth it. Who'd love cars.
You can't fast pass that bad boy, huh?
No, you cannot. But I was skeptical. I don't really love the Cars movies, but people are that's the best ride. I'm going to tell you right now, it is elite. Your oldest would love it. It is elite. It's worth the wait for sure.
Big Board 92 needs to know, I need mochas, Johnny?
100%. They've got this cold brew in the Star Wars land where they put off-brand Cocoa Puffs on top. It slaps. It slaps midday when you need that boost when you're waiting for Monster.
I need that right now. Yeah.
We'll do a
lot of people the streets are saying it started yesterday, maybe even before that, Mocha Gate. That was a big enough controversy that it could have
derailed the season.
Yeah, derailed the season. Even though we were doing our part, at least Damon and myself at the time, to hold the team accountable, and it worked a little bit, but still the ramifications of you just blatantly breaking your fast and just guzzling sugary drinks when you're supposed to be fasting from sugar. I don't think the team ever kind of got back on track from that. And that's unfortunate.
On that note, as the Cardinals are flipping terrible and I drank a sugar-free coffee, we're going to end this show. Some would say prematurely because that was hurtful. Mocha Gate or DeMercado's fumble. I don't know. One of those two. Mocha Gate or Kyler Murray's soft bench. I don't know.
They're all details, Johnny. They're all little details that add up. And you knowingly or unknowingly putting chocolate syrup in your coffee, thinking there's no sugar in that. That's just not paying attention to the details. It's a lack of focus that you need at a big pivotal moment.
Tim saying JB benched his fast quicker than K1 was benched by the Cardinals. Wow. Somebody asked me today, like, what are the chances Kyler Murray plays this year? 0.
Yeah.
He's never coming back. Don't you agree with 0% chance?
I do agree with that. Because now it becomes you have to protect this asset at all costs. Now it becomes the softer version Russell Wilson from a couple of years ago.
Like they would start Jeff Driscoll. I don't think they would start Slovis. Jeff Driscoll would start, I think, over Jacoby Brissett, or not over. If Jacoby Brissett, God forbid, went down, Ozzy's right.
And I think that wouldn't be I think that would come from the top of the organization more so. Like it would be out of the hands of Jonathan Gannon.
1,000%. We've seen him play his last game here.
Crazy.
There's too much stuff going on behind the scenes. The
last glimpse of Kyler Murray was again a loss to the Titans, who might win one. That might be their one win this season.
I think that'll tell you though that they think he'll have a market.
Mm-hmm.
Try in the offseason, but anybody I see people on Twitter give Kyler to a different regime and we're going to figure this out. Kyler Murray will never play for this franchise again. Okay, they're not doing another regime. And again, I'm not saying that's the right decision, but Gannon and Ossenfort are staying. Kyler Murray is leaving. And we have 7 more weeks of the regular season. That's where the Cardinals are. That's it.
How did we get here? There
you go.
Banner show. Bo was asking in the chat, where was Baldy? Baldy's tomorrow, 4:30. Yeah. Make sure to check it out. He talks on many topics, including Gannon and so much more. What went wrong? Can the Cardinals right this ship after back-to-back non-competitive performances? Our guy, Brian Baldinger, answers it all as best as he can, as well as he does, top in the game, in the analysis game. It's Brian Baldinger. For Johnny Venerable, for Noah, I'm Bo. Make sure you join us. We got a full preview show Friday, 4:30, right here, PHNX Cardinals.
We all silly like the mayor.